Why, hello, people of the world, all around the world, China, Russia, Argentina, Brazil, America, Canada, England, wherever you are. I'm really glad you decided to join me today. And I hope whatever we do today is going to help you in your project and just make life a little bit easier. Last time we made a toilet. If you need help with that, go back to the part one. And today we're going to make a bathtub. And depending on how many people view this, we may go on and make a vanity, like a sink vanity. Think in Europe, a bathroom is called well, in some places in Europe, it's called a wash closet. I think that's the traditional name for it, and that we changed the name after. I could be mistaken, but I believe that's how that went. All right, let's get started. All right, we're going to start off with a simple shape, like we always do. Our famous square, and then we're going to modify it into a bathtub shape. Now, first we'll just kind of get our general shape that we're going to need. Really easy. Just stretching the sides, and if you're new at this, you just need to make sure that you're on the scaler while you're doing this, and that you're out of edit mode. And you can tell when you're in edit mode because when you push tab, see all these extra options come up, and that's edit mode. Out of edit mode, you don't have these extra tabs. It's just a really easy way to tell if you're new to Blender in general. Alright, so we'll start off with something like that. So bathtub, let's think about this. Round everywhere, flat on the bottom, okay? So when we go into edit mode, we already know it's got to be flat on the bottom, right? So we are not going to curve the bottom. So we're going to take all these edges off the bottom, so that our bottom will be flat when we hit Control B, and we just drag it over. And obviously that doesn't look right, but don't panic yet. We haven't set up our bevels. This will set them up between, what I like to do, in between 6 or 8. You can go as many as you want, keeping in mind that the more that you add, it tends to make the item for your game a little more costly. So you probably want to stop at a certain point and think about what you're making and how much is going to be used in game and how well you need it to look. I go in between 6 and 8. I'm going to do 6 today. I'm going to undo it right away and just redo it. Now that we have the bevels, we can see it, the shape a little bit more of what it's going to be. Try to make sure that our shape's going to be what we want it to be. Kind of looks a little bit off. Kind of don't want that lift in the middle as much, so might have to go back a little bit. And more on the edges like that, probably. About there. Okay, well, that doesn't look terrible. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to make a shape to punch into the middle of this. And there's 2 ways we can do this. We can make a new square, or we could do a little bit of a cheat and see if this will work, because I don't know it's gonna. We're going to Shift D on the piece we already have. It's going to make a duplicate. We're going to right click to cancel that movement. We're just going to drag it straight up. Okay, and I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to give it a try. I don't like to be fake and just do this stuff behind your guys' back and see if it works and test it first. Make everything live. I don't practice. That's not the right one. I do it right with you guys. That way you see everybody makes mistakes. No matter what level you're at, you're going to make mistakes. So it's okay to make a mistake here and there. So what I have done, I found the right rotation up here. I've hit 180 there. And we've just spun the item basically upside down. So now we have 2 tubs facing each other. We're holding the top one right now. That's why it's highlighted. I'm going to hit S and just shrink it down. Okay. I'm going to drag it in to what shape we want for our bathtub. We want it pretty deep. We want some good edges. So now we're just going to modify this shape to try to give us the right edges we want on the bathtub. This side looks a little too small, and this side looks a little too big. So try to find a balance for that looks about the same all the way around, basically. And that's how I would make my bathtub. I'll just take this shape now, and I'll punch it out of that shape. So we're going to take this shape with left click, and then we're going to shift left click on the other one. Object, bool, and we're going to hit the top difference. The second one gives us more options on the bool, but we don't really need them since it's a basic run-of-the-mill bool. Okay, now we have our tub. It's got a little bit of a straight edge there. If you want, you could grab it and control click to follow it around basically. And again, and we got the whole thing. We can control B, just kind of give it that edge, but you're going to have to be really careful. You're seeing it's tearing right there, so might not be such a good idea. I think I'll just leave it like that. I think it's pretty much what we need. And I think it looks pretty dang good. So, bathtub, what's the next step? What do bathtubs need? They need a drain. Let's do that real quick. Oops. I'm just going to undo that. I misclick there. Whenever that happens, you can just undo at the top. It's not really a big deal. So I'm just going to make a cylinder. And we're just going to modify this cylinder just a hair before we shape it right. We're going to go to edit mode. I'm just going to click this bottom face by clicking on faces, highlighting the face, and just hitting S, just a hair. And that way our drain kind of tapers as it goes down. I'm going to just change to our scaler and just drag it out this way. Then I'm going to hit S. Then I'm going to drag it out a little farther. Then I'm going to hit S until it's about the size I want it. And we just want a little tiny drain. So let's move it over here. And our drain's going to be here. Okay. So now we need to make sure that the drain sticks out of the bottom of the tub and goes through the top of the tub. It looks like it's good. So we could probably go ahead and bool that now by just shift clicking to the tub after. Object, bool, difference. Real easy. There you go. Got our drain through the bottom of our tub. Alright, so what else do we need? We need taps and stuff like that. So let's add some taps. Not exactly sure what your taps look like at home. You can use my idea to try to make them look more like yours, or you can look them up on the internet and try to make them look more like that. But this is how I would do them. So I'm just going to make a little cylinder here. Start off. I'm just going to center it on the edge of this tub. You could have a wall here too. I think we did that last time, but we're going to do it inside of the tub this time. Oops, I'm doing this wrong. I need to stretch that out like so. And we'll give it a little boost over here. All right. That's probably going to have to be much taller, isn't it? Now, we can turn this into our shower itself and our tub if we want. Or we can use a wall, like I said, and kind of hide the plumbing behind the wall. You can move it out here for you can still make your decision after. It's all up to you. So what I'm going to do, though, I'm going to put it right into the tub. I'm going to make my own tub. I don't even think this is a tub, but this is how I'm going to make mine. My plumbing's hidden right in the side of the tub. And again, you're working on a game, so if you want to make it your own, that's perfectly fine. So we're going to get to about here probably, and we're going to have to start twisting. So we're just going to do one of these. Okay. And I don't know if this is going to work. We're going to have to just try it. We might have to do it a different way. May have to use a curve shape and change the shape as we're going up. We can do something like this. I think this looks pretty good. I'm not sure though. Oh yeah, that looks pretty bad actually. Let's do it a different way. Don't like how this is turning out. So let's just change it. And the same thing with you. If you're working on a project and you're not liking how things are going, just start a new piece. Make it again. Make it again until you like it. Gonna get it eventually. So what we need to do is stand this up. So we're gonna have to figure out which way stands it up. That's not it. There we go, stood it up. And otherwise it's pretty good. And I know this is not what we're after yet, but this is an easier way to make those curves and bends where you want them. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. So don't worry, we'll get there. We're going to go into edit mode while we're on this. Oops. I'm getting Unreal and other things confused here. I tried to use the wrong button. So tab to go into edit. And that's going to happen too if you're working with Unreal and you're working with Blender and other things. It just gets a little confusing sometimes. You flip back and forth. You're working in one and then you go to work on the other one and all of a sudden the controls are different. It really messes with you. Wait a second, that's not supposed to happen. So I'm going to hit E there, and I'm just going to drag it up. Again, I know this isn't the right shape right now, but we'll get there. We just need to kind of do it one step at a time. So I'm going to click this little thing down here, and it's a little move control point. And we're just going to start to turn here. And we'll do some of that. Something like that. We may have to move it around a little more, but let's just kind of get it in place where we want it. I kind of don't like that. Kind of wish we could hide it in a wall, but the problem is you'd probably want to rather have a tub that you can add like beside a wall, because if you already have a wall and you try to attach it to a wall, that's going to cause some issues. You're going to have 2 walls in a row. So let's see. Let's do a little more. There, I can see the curve looks a little bit better there. It might need to be taller too, but let's move this up a little bit. I can drag that out a little bit and make it a little bit taller. There we go. Something like that. So now I'm going to go to geometry, and I'm just going to give this a little bit of thickness for we're able to see a little bit more of, we're just going to go to depth and just click 1. There we go. But we're able to see our pipe a little bit more and exactly what the shape's kind of going to look like and make sure it's okay for us and everything. I think it looks pretty okay. I think it pretty much looks like a normal shower pipe. I think I'm going to do the other controls a different way, but we'll see in a second. So I think if that's right, we're going to right click it. We may end up changing it, but I think we're going to make it a mesh. And now it's a normal piece, just like any other piece. You can move it around. You can attach it to things. It's just a piece now. If you want to make it a bit thinner, you can do that. If you want to make it thicker, you can stretch it out. But I think we're about the right size. All right, so let's make the other piece now. So that's got to have a little spout coming out of it. So we're going to go to cylinder, drag this up, drag this over. It should be pretty much in the middle. And we'll go back to that, and we'll flip this at a 90 once we figure out the right 90, which was that one. Going to go to faces. We're going to go to S, and we're going to make the shower head shape, basically. And, okay. And then we're going to kind of shrink it down till it's a more of an appropriate size, right? Something like that. And then you can see we're slightly off on our angles, so we're just going to go something like that. And then just slowly move it into position. I think that's about right for me. Oh, you can see we're slightly off on the rotation. But I think I'm going to leave it there. I think it looks really good. So now, all right, now we're going to go back in edit mode on this piece. We're going to click on this face. We're going to hit S. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Then we are going to hit E. And again, I don't plan this out, so understand I'm kind of making decisions on the fly. And then we're going to hit I. We're just going to go in a little bit. And then we're going to hit E. We're just going to go in the slightest bit, like that. Just again to give it some contour, some like shapes to it. All right. So we could add holes if you want to bring some cylinders up and just kind of mix them around. We could add holes, but I really don't think it's necessary. I think the people will get the point. Should we do it? I feel like we kind of should. Let's just do it. Darn it. Hate getting into this much detail over something so small, but in reality, the more detail you add to things, the more people are going to like them and the more realistic they're going to be. So what did I do? 980. So let's just shrink the heck out of that because it's got to be way smaller. before we go too small, we'll stretch it this way, and then we'll stretch it that way, and then we'll stretch it this way, and then we'll stretch it that way. Something like that. And then, what is the angle on this? 98.1. So let's copy the angle, 98.1. Okay? So now we're at the exact same angle, so these are perfectly straight. That's a really important thing to try to keep things straight like that. Otherwise, your holes will be on angles. You'll be looking in and seeing a weird angle on it. So just be careful with that. I'm going to Shift D it. Put one up here. Shift D it. They don't have to be exact. Otherwise, I'd use math to do this. It might be better to do it like that, but I'm not going to bother. I just don't think it's worth it. Just going to quickly slam some holes in here. Shift D. Shift D. Alright, and if you want to do more, you get the idea. I'm just more of a tutorial on how you're going to do it, so you take the time to do it the way you want to. And you're going to grab all these little points, right? And you're going to hit that after, and then we're going to object, bool, difference, okay? So now it's got a bunch of little holes. If you want to add your water through those holes, it's a little more realistic. I get that. That's cool. Trying to think of anything else that we could really do to that piece. We don't really need to do anything else. So let's Control J to it. You're going to need water controls for your shower. You're going to need water and you're going to need a spout for your bath. So let's just do water controls. And again, if your thing's different, you should still be able to use these pieces. Just set them up whatever way you want to. If you're doing it a little bit different or whatever. So again, bathrooms vary quite a bit apparently. So the more I've been learning about it. So we're going to take the cylinder up. We're going to use this for our controls. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make this side a little bit bigger, just like that, not too much. And then we're going to Control B right on that edge, and we're just going to follow it down a little bit. And if you need to, you can still make it a bit bigger for kind of tapers up at the edge, the top a little bit. Oops. I'm just going to right click to get out of that. And then we're going to hit S and shrink it way down. And if you need it to be bigger up and down like so, there you go. And we'll just keep going down till we're happy with the size of the knobs. And there's a few ways we could do this. You can make a little piece that it sits on, that it twists on, or you can just kind of sit them inside of the edge of the tub. So I think, what are we going to do? Let's add a cylinder. So we're going to add another cylinder, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, but we're going to do it just because more detail, the better, right? So we're going to hit S, go way down, and kind of match it up a bit with this guy. Obviously, it's way too big, so we'll go way smaller, way smaller, way smaller, something like that. And then, you know what? Let's do this a different way. As you see, if we take these two out, and we do the same here, it's going to put them exactly in the same position. And the reason I'm doing that is when you're trying to match two things up, if you're off one side or the other or anything like that, people are going to notice, they're going to see it's off center, and it's going to look funny. Take the time to do this, do it right, do it once, and then you don't have to do it again. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to do just one more thing. I did attach them, by the way. I shift grab the first one, shift grab the second one, and Control J to attach them. I should have mentioned that. And then I'm just going to go here, and I'm just going to move this piece down just a little bit. And as you can see, it kind of gives it this flat taper at the top, but we're going to go in a little farther, so it has that look to it. Now let's take 1 second to color this piece, okay? Because we're going to want it colored. Okay, so we have just this piece. We're going to go into edit mode. And we're going to start off, we'll go plus, new, we'll make it blue just to give it a color before we're able to give it a color in game. I don't know what would be a better, more suitable color really, honestly. It's a bathtub fixture, so I don't know, like kind of whitey. Something like that, right? Click off everything. We're going to click L on just this piece here, and we're going to give this a silver color because this is a piece of metal. It doesn't matter, but we're just giving that slot for when you take it in game. And up here, you may want to do like hot and cold type things. So we're just going to do one color here. And we'll just do like that to represent that, okay? And that way you can do your hat colors right onto the pieces themselves. And it just gives it a little more realness and just makes things look a little better in your game. And people take it a little seriouser. Okay, so we want to do 2 of those. So we're going to Shift D it. And then we're going to hit this. And we're going to figure out what sideways is. And it's the top one. And then we're going to, oops, just add a 0. Or, sorry, a minus. There we go. And then we'll take that. And we will go back to color. And we'll just make it a different color. Just make it blue. Oops. Can't do that, can I? I have to add another color. Yeah, I do. Alright, we'll make this one blue. There you go, and you got your hot and colds. Perfect. Okay, so we just need a tub thing to pump that out of. We're going to have to color this piece too, but we'll get it all attached after. We got our drain. What else do we need? Do we need anything else? I don't think we do. We just need the spout for the bathtub. So let's do that real quick, I suppose. So something like this. Yeah, let's do it this way. Just started thinking maybe I shouldn't be doing it this way, but I think this will work. We'll just have to shape it right. Okay, how's this gonna be? Gonna go into edit mode, Control R. And we're going to drag that over to boot there. And then we're going to Control R. And we're going to drag it right beside that one. And then we're going to grab our face. And we're going to drag this, this bottom face up. Kind of giving us our bathtub shape in general. And then we're going to have to fix this up a little bit. So let's get rid of some stuff. We're going to get rid of this. We're just holding Shift while I left click. And the reason is that it's just going to give us an easier shape to curve with less issues. So we're going to dissolve edges. And we still got the ones we need. I'm going to pull this one in just a hair like that. I feel like it's almost the exact same or exact right shape we need. If it isn't, fix it up a little bit, like so. I think the spot gets a little bit more narrow here, so I'm just going to take it down just like that. And like that. Hopefully that's about right. If you need to adjust, you still can. This might be a bit longer this way. And I know it doesn't quite look right yet, but we're going to get it. We're going to hit L over the whole thing, and we're going to Control B. Okay, stop. I've made a mistake. Let's go to edges. We're going to take this one off. This one needs to be square. And this one needs to be square. Okay, let's try again. Control B. And as you can see, you can make small mistakes all the time. You just take the time to fix them and do it right. You'll be fine. So I think that's about the right shape. We're going to shrink it way, way down. And we can use our scaler to kind of make it more and more the right shape, but I think it's just too big basically right now. We need somewhere around there, I think. I think that's appropriate. I may be wrong. And you may want to do it a bit different. You may want it thicker, thinner, you know, whatever. That's fine. Let's make sure that's centered good. I think that's pretty much what we're after though, so let's grab all our pieces and attach them to our tub with Control J. And as you've seen, it gave our tub a basic color, and we just need to color a couple more things and we'll be all done for the day. So into edit mode we go, click off everything. We're going to click L over this piece, and click off everything. Make sure you're on faces, and then click L, then click L. And we're also going to make those silver, so we're going to do that. Okay. And then we are going to give this a little bit of color by doing a few things. And it's just going to help us with our look in game. We're just going to left click, and then I Control left click to grab more of it. Then Shift left click because we can't do the control there. And then Control left click. And we're just going to follow that around until we've got the whole thing. Oops, that one messed up. I'm gonna have to go back. If you go too far, sometimes you miss what you're trying to grab. So that was it. I went too far at once. As you can see, it's fine now. And once you got the whole thing, we're gonna make this piece a new color. We're gonna new, and we're gonna make it black. Just a color here is gonna give you a slot to do it in game, so it doesn't necessarily have to be this color once you get in game. Actually, what we're gonna do is undo that. No, we're not. No, we're not. I think that looks good, actually. I think that looks pretty good. I think I'm just going to keep it that way. We might do the tub, though. That could be a different color. You're probably going to want it to be more of a white in game, so I'm just going to do that and assign it. Okay? So now we got... Oops, I still had that other piece highlighted. So I'm just going to click off everything, then hit L, then assign. And then it's just that piece that got changed. So here we go. We got a tub. It's white. We got a metal fixtures. We got on and off. We got a shower. You might have to fix that angle a little bit. I guess it'd be blasting right in your face. But I think you get the idea, and I think you get the principle. And that's all we're here today, is to kind of give you an idea of how you're going to make these things in your own game. Tub looks a little small too, huh? There we go. There's a tub for you. I would use each other to scale to each other, and since we scaled the whole thing, it should be good for inside of your game and work really well for you, I hope you've learned something today, and I hope I've helped you in some way, and if I have, I'd appreciate it if you'd thumbs up for me, like the video, and check out some more of the stuff on my channel. I'd also like to take a minute to mention I do have my own game out, Fishdon: A Town to Remember. It's available on Steam and itch.io. So if you're interested in showing some kind of gratitude or support, you're welcome to buy it. You don't have to. I don't ask anybody to, but if you feel like you'd like to give something back, you're welcome to do that. And one last thing, we just got our second page up for our upcoming game. It's called Yard Sale Simulator. It's on queenfishgames.com. queenfishgames.com. And you can check out a preview. It's not out yet, but it's previewing what the game's going to be. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's already starting to get a ton of excitement. So if you're interested, check it out. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you'd like to see something else in the series, make sure you get the thumbs up in, and make sure you maybe mention it in the comments if you need help with something specific you're having trouble with and you think I could help. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.